Time now to hand it over to Holly Roll with Trey Young.
Well, Trey, you promised a different type of management of the game tonight and a different plan. In the last two possessions, you hit two teammates for open threes. How would you describe that plan?
That's the way I've been playing all year. I didn't do my best job my last two games, and I apologize to the people who are my fans. But this is how I'm going to continue to play. I got to continue to focus and take it one game at a time, and I liked how I played today.
In the first half, that focus was clear. You really wanted to distribute 7 assists. How does that make your team better?
It makes everybody's confidence go up. Like I said, I didn't do a good job the last two games, but this game I felt like we came out with a lot of enthusiasm and we played really well. And my teammates did a great job this game. Christian James did a great job. Brady Manick hit a big three. Everybody played well. This is a good team we beat today, and I'm proud of my teammates.
You don't need to apologize. You just beat Kansas.
Thank you, Miss Holly Rowe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
85-80 the final. The Sooners win it. For Tom Crean and Holly Rowe, I'm John Shambi. Let's send it to Kentucky. Joe Tessitore, take it away.
Shams, let's keep the good energy going on this Super Tuesday here as we are here in Lexington. Joe Tessitore, Sean Farnham, Laura Rutledge with you. The Kentucky Wildcats have never lost 3 straight under Coach Cal. Tonight, of course, in this deeper and more competitive SEC, every night a tough night as they take on Mississippi State. Unranked is Kentucky for the first time in 3 years. Coming off that week where they blew that 14-point second-half lead at South Carolina, and then Saturday night, all the late drama in a loss to the Florida Gators. They start off on a high note with Diallo.
A design play off the tip, the great back screen, good floor spacing, utilizing the athleticism, trying to get to the rim.
Starting 5 for Mississippi State, who's this guy right here, Lamar Peters. Of course, Hugh Weatherspoon, their best overall players. He goes into the post to get their night started with Eric Holman. Kentucky's a little deeper, a little healthier. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course, handling the point, but Quade Green is back, and Jared Vanderbilt will be game number 3 of his college career. Look to see those two in a bit. Here's Gilgeous-Alexander off the mark and into the hands of Q.
Well, both teams on their opening possession executed perfectly. And for Mississippi State, where they want to get the ball and where they feel like they can be effective is attacking the paint. This is not a good three-point shooting team, and if Mississippi State's going to live beyond the three-point line, they're going to live with a loss tonight.
Now, they have struggled offensively overall, and shooting the 3 for Kentucky, by the way, a big point of emphasis from Coach Cal. He says the fix would be fewer turnovers and more threes. Adu backing down, double, and a sloppy moment here.
Well, and Tess,
it'll be the violation.
This is what plagued Mississippi State against Alabama last time out. They had 4 turnovers in the first 4 minutes. They ended up only scoring 6 points in the first 10 minutes and found themselves down 19. Now, they rallied to eventually take a lead in that game and then lose. But you cannot dig yourself that large of a hole on the road. Managing the ball, valuing the basketball, going to be very key for the Bulldogs.
Ben Howland was very proud of the way they fought back against Alabama, but that is a tough loss considering how hard they fought to get in position. They had that game right there with 6 minutes to play. And there is Washington on the drive. 136 big-bodied guy. And he didn't get that foul call when he drove and took contact with 2 seconds left on Saturday night against Florida.
And he's got to put that behind him because he can have that all night long against Mississippi State. I think he's a player that could go for plus 20 tonight easy if they just feed him the ball and put him in the right position.
Weatherspoon, the older of the Weatherspoon brothers. Freshman guard Nick, the younger brother, who's been seeing more time handling the ball. Here's Q stepping back and putting it down. Quindary Weatherspoon averages over 14 points per game. Last year was 7th in the SEC in scoring. This year early on, asked to help with some of the ball handling chores a little more, so he's upped his assists per game as a facilitator. Diallo now. Shot fake. Nick Weatherspoon. Holman, second chance, and he puts it down.
Now, what was the one thing Coach Cal told us when reflecting back to a week ago against South Carolina? He said, fouls aside, we gave up far too many offensive rebounds and about 7 second chance points opportunities that came right at the cup. And Mississippi State just got one.
Trying to find Richards that time. Coach Cal, 9 years, they've only lost back-to-back games 9 times now. As you mentioned, they've never lost 3 straight. And in the bounce back, the average margin of victory in that 3rd game, when they do go back-to-back, is nearly 15 points to win. Well, trailing by 3 early on.
And substitutions come in play, and number 32 in white is out on the floor. And Wenyen Gabriel has been the lifeline of this team. He's been so infectious with his energy. When he's on the court, the team plays better. And it's not because he's a dynamic scorer, it's because of effort and how hard he works. Whether he makes shots or not, he just keeps playing.
Too much of a push that time by Jared Vanderbilt. Of course, he made his season debut last Tuesday against South Carolina. Knox couldn't finish. The foul, Vanderbilt denied. And he'll stay with Kentucky. Green returned from a back injury this past game. Gabriel found himself wide open, unable to put it down. Rebound by Holman. Shot fake. Q on the drive. Wouldn't fall for him. Tried to put some action on it. Here's Vanderbilt, 15-footer, too much, well off the mark that time.
No need to take that shot. Contested shot, you can get that at any moment in the possession.
Young Nick gives, and the foul as Adu went up. So trailing by 3 early at home is Kentucky. Cal says it's all fixable. I'm not panicked. We'll talk more about that when we return to Rough.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile.
We're 14-5. I'm not panicked. I mean, I coach at Kentucky. I always have young guys. I don't have them this young. They're really young. They're learning to trust each other. I got to get them to trust each other on both sides of the ball.
Super Tuesday presented by Boost Mobile. Joe and Sean here. They're unranked. We haven't seen out of a Kentucky team since 2014. What realistically lies ahead for this group?
Well, I think they need to go, as Coach is talking about trust. Where do you build trust? Through communication. This is still the quietest Kentucky team I've seen since I've been covering the SEC. They need to talk more. And talking more leads to trusting better. At the defensive end of the floor, staying attached, staying more consistent. Offensively, not settling. 1 for 7 in contested jump shots so far in this game. Jared Vanderbilt checked in a minute ago. He's already attempted 3 shots. Let the game come to you a little bit. They're forcing things offensively still, even tonight. Trust the offense, give it up, wait for a ball reversal and see if you can get the ball back in a better position to score.
Guys, one of the things that Coach Cal talked about today is really trying to find the right combination of guys on the floor for Kentucky now that they are at full strength. And that's something that we'll see throughout the night. Sometimes he has a tendency to take somebody out if they're not performing well. He'll try to actually keep people in there for longer to see if he can get the right combo of them and the timing correct. And as you mentioned earlier, Sean, Wenyen Gabriel has been the common denominator for positivity for this team. We may see a lot more of him.
Well, and Laura, the big part of that is consistency. What he's trying to do is almost make it appointment playing time so that the players aren't surprised when they're going into the game. They can psychologically get themselves ready. And you see this most frequently in the NBA. At the next level, you know when a guy's getting subbed out. And he knows before the game even starts, okay, I'm getting subbed out at this moment, somebody's coming in for me. And I think that's part of the adjustment that Coach Cal is trying to make right now.
Washington at the line. Foul was charged to Eli Wright. You see the minutes played per game in SEC play, and Gilgeous-Alexander topping that list. Listen, they were so thin about a week and a half ago. They only had 7 scholarship players who were hitting the floor in back-to-back games. He was the freshman of the week back on January 13th. He averaged 39 minutes per game in the wins against A&M and Vandy. And Cal said to us earlier today, nobody on this team should be hitting 30 plus. Just the way it's put together. Good pass underneath, and the extra pass to Adu, but stripped away by Hami. And now the Cats are running.
Tempo and pacing always key. Mississippi State wants to play this game in the 60s. Kentucky obviously wants to play it at a faster clip.
A lot of contact there on the long rebound, and that'll be charged on Wenyon Gabriel, his first.
That was on Gabriel. That's his first and team's second.
Ben Howland says this team needs a leader. They don't have any seniors. Says they don't have the guy who's the big verbal communicator that everybody can feed off of, and that is tough.
It's a common trend across college basketball. It's not just about being quiet at Kentucky. There's a lot of teams right now, because you have so many talented components, that they all kind of feel a little bit uncomfortable about where they're at or what their new role is going to be at the college level.
Wright comes away with it, and it'll stay with Mississippi State, as Cal was right there near where that call was made, and he has a word or two to say about that.
And I'll tell you what, though, back-to-back defensive possessions where it looked like it should have been a dunk for Mississippi State, but the quick hands of the Cats have swiped the ball away.
Quick hands and long arms when you look at this Kentucky team. Nick Weatherspoon gets it over to Carter. He's their best three-point shooter. Second chance here. Datcher couldn't get it to go.
You get a second
call down on the baseline.
That's a second and then a third chance opportunity. And this is an area where Kentucky needs to continue to get better.
There's 2 now on Gabriel.
Their first possession defense has been pretty good, but then you give up a second chance, and now you're working at a deficit. You're scrambling a little bit. Then you give up another one, and then you're fouling. And if you're Wenyon Gabriel, you're going to the bench.
As Eli Wright goes to the line, he's back home here in his home state of Kentucky. Grew up a UK fan from Owensboro.
And Eli Wright's done a really good job all season long for Mississippi State. Only 12 turnovers in nearly 300 minutes played on the season.
Started his high school career at Apollo High School before he transferred to IMG. Same high school that produced Kentucky legend Rex Chapman. 8-1 run for Mississippi State.
Good isolation here for P.J. Washington if he wants to take it.
Washington over to Knox as he puts it down.
You have to love the poise. P.J. Washington got the ball at the high post. He had multiple cutters come off of him, didn't force it at all, then looked to drive right, pinch the defense in ever so slightly to free up his teammate.
Knox averaging 14.3 to lead Kentucky. Nice feed to E.J. Datcher. Green. He's denied that time by Datcher. Knox again.
Well, what did Coach Cal say from beyond the arc? Look, we don't need to make 10. We don't need to make 11. But if we can make 7, 8 3-point shots a game, we're going to be just fine.
Here's Peters weaving his way in. And Kentucky finding a little momentum now. Quade Green will settle them down. Kalea Jones the foul.
That's a good call by Pat Adams on the baseline. Stapleton was too slow getting over, and a beautiful slip screen by Sasha Kalea-Jones. As he comes out, he slips the screen, never really even makes contact, and Stapleton goes too late getting over. The last couple of possessions much better for Kentucky as far as patience, poise, floor spacing, not bunched in.
Sasha Kalea-Jones unable to finish the three-point opportunity. But he said of the 2 straight losses, there's no lack of confidence in ourselves. They have that understanding, just time to work a little harder. Stapleton for 3. And tracked down by Q Weatherspoon.
Now, Kevin Knox, a non-factor in that box out. Didn't even make contact with Weatherspoon.
Three ball put in by Tyson Carter.
And he needed that in a massive way. Just 21% from 3 in SEC play.
And underneath, foul. And as you saw, Diallo hit the deck.
Sean Farnham live at the SEC Weather Center. We'll take a look at the live Doppler, give you the up-to-date forecast for not only now, but the week ahead in the SEC. Hello, friends. Time now to take a look at your SEC forecast. Let's go to that live Doppler and take a look at how the conference is looking. You see a warming trend throughout the south region of the United States. Let's take a focus, though, in on the plains of Texas, where an early January Arctic blast has frozen out Billy Kennedy's team. But after 2 consecutive wins, maybe the Aggies have got it back on track. The Florida Gators, whoo, they have been hot. It's been clear skies all the way throughout for the team from Gainesville. Mike White focused on a regular season conference championship. For Lexington, though, ooh, unstable weather system going on right now. We'll see if clear skies are ahead or if this unsettled period will remain here in the Commonwealth.
I mean, you are so good, Farnham. You are so good with the cheesy local news intonation and rhythm to break down the forecast in the SEC. But when you look at RPI, I mean, 8 RPI top 40 teams, 11 in the top 68. The conference is deeper. It has parity. We're used to seeing Kentucky on top, but you know what? Top to bottom, it is strong.
Well, that's part of the problem for people here in Kentucky that are upset or on edge a little bit about where this team is at. Look, there is no question that this Kentucky team is a step behind where recent Kentucky teams have been. But with that being said, the conference has taken 3 steps forward. The depth in this conference so much better, and it's just created a little bit of the perfect storm here where your margin for error, when you brought a B- or a B game, you were able to find a win. You're not able to find those wins as easily now in the SEC because of the depth that the conference has shown already.
Now, Washington giving us an example of that unstable weather system that's been in Lexington at times offensively. Crowd wanted to walk there. Holman wants a 3, unable to find it. By the way, you with a green screen is something to behold.
I think we're going to make that a weekly. No, just kidding.
Knox.
Oh, how about that?
Unintended, but doesn't feel so good. And we are all tied up at 18.
Looked like a Plinko chip falling off the backboard and going in, my partner.
Oh, boy. Cal doesn't mind. He's going to take 3s.
The price is right for 3.
Here's Carter again. Tapped back out, another second chance. Good feed and a little thunder that time. Eric Holman.
Well, if you do not rebound the basketball against Mississippi State, and you've watched this game so far, one thing you're going to know is going to be true. They're going to get the ball right back down inside, and they're going to try to score. 9 second chance points already, 0 for Kentucky.
5 offensive rebounds for Mississippi State.
And that was an area Ben Howland said, look, usually we might not send 3 to the offensive glass, but given the fact that Kentucky has struggled there, we're going to take 3. We're going to attack the offensive glass and try to score.
Washington helps on the other end. They're better with the assist-to-turnover ratio tonight, 5-1 for Kentucky. And SEC games coming into tonight, a negative assist-to-turnover ratio, 78-95 coming into tonight. Peters and he gives underneath.
Travel.
And that was.
Oh, they call it a foul?
Call it baseline.
Oh, partner, that's a travel. That's not a foul.
They're saying there was contact there, and that'll be charged against Diallo.
It's easy to draw contact when you're running with the basketball without putting it down.
No doubt about it. Check in with Laura.
Well, guys, Kevin Knox has already been responsible for 2 3-point shots, but Coach Cal in that last huddle telling him he's got to rebound more. He doesn't have a rebound yet. Also telling these guys they're settling for too many jump shots. Want to see him drive inside.
Gilgeous-Alexander. Aggressive through the lane. And drawing the foul that time. That's the first charge on Tyson Carter. Gilgeous-Alexander shooting over 81%. Reminder, it's the 5th annual Big 12 SEC Challenge coming your way. Trey Young, who was superb tonight facilitating down the stretch for Oklahoma, will be going up against Alabama at 2:15 Eastern. A&M takes on Kansas and Kentucky and West Virginia in the Saturday primetime matchup presented by AT&T. Going to be a good one. Big 12 SEC Challenge.
You look at West Virginia, you know they're going to play that disruptive D and try to get Kentucky out of rhythm, force turnovers. They got to be aware of Devon Carter and Young versus Sexton, the top 2 freshman point guards in the entire country in that Oklahoma-Alabama game. Trey Young's numbers tonight. He has now accounted for 1,000 points. That's how much he's been responsible for. He has scored 575, and he's assisted for 425. And of course, UNI Texas A&M at Allen Fieldhouse.
What an atmosphere.
Holly Rowe.
Should be great. Here's Green as he leaves it to the trailing Vanderbilt, who struggles on the second chance as well and is stripped away by Q. Witherspoon, other ends, count it. As that's goaltending nonetheless.
You see the ability, though, athleticism to push out in transition. They're scrapping for the ball, and Quindary Witherspoon gets it, and like a running back in the open field, all of a sudden he breaks to the outside, and he downshifts and goes into a different gear, able to finish and explode to the iron.
And just to wrap up your conversation on Trey Young, how about tonight going about it in a different way? I remember looking about a minute before the half, he had only taken 3 shots, and then you watch how that game was won down the stretch with the 2 assists.
He only attempted 9 field goals in the game. That's coming off of that contest against Oklahoma State, where he took 39 attempts. Now, again, I know he took a lot of criticism. I didn't criticize him so much. His teammates weren't making shots in that game at Oklahoma State. They looked like they had deer in headlights. But because he was unselfish tonight, because he came out with a sense of purpose of getting his teammates involved, it instilled confidence. And I think that paid off late in that game when it was so tight.
16 fouls now on Mississippi State.
He's the face of college basketball this
really
year.
is.
Leading the nation in scoring, leading the nation in assists. Oh, what a split by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, partner.
And then gets the finish. Split the defenders and took it to the hole. He has 6. That's by 2 here. Younger brother Nick Witherspoon to his older brother Q. And now Peters on the drive. Tried to leave it for Datcher.
He was fumbling the ball, never had control of it.
Knox, elbow, money. 11 points for Kevin Knox. And Kentucky's up 4. Timeout, Bulldogs. Take a quick break. Get you updated on what's going on with Duke when we return to Rump. Oh, wasn't that great, Ferky? Farnham on the green screen. Well, of course, Duke was #1 preseason. You see the current rankings with unranked listed next to Kentucky. As we told you, we haven't seen that since 2014. Of course, that 2014 team was famously tweaked and made a great run through March. Will these young freshmen somehow come together and find their way? Kentucky on an 8-2 run right now with a 4-point lead.
The sky is falling mentality is just not reality. and there's still plenty of time for this team to find its way. And almost all the top teams in the country have taken 2-game losing streaks throughout the course of this season. I mean, heck, Arizona took 3 in a row. Purdue lost 2 games down in the Bahamas and haven't lost since. And now that's in November, which means you have plenty more time to find yourself. But just because you haven't found yourself yet, when you have this collection of young, talented players, again, doesn't mean that Kentucky come March isn't going to be in a position to make a run.
P.J. Washington charged with the foul. Nick Witherspoon at the line. If you don't like the sky is falling mentality, then don't listen to the Paul Feinbaum show the past few days. The reaction, the overreaction to Kentucky losing a couple of games.
And here's the reason why you don't need to overreact. And as I mentioned, a couple teams that already had those significant losing streaks that you've seen, or losing streaks that caught people's attention. It wasn't that long ago that Florida lost 3 games in a row. Coming out of the PK80, and out of the PK80, they're a Final Four team.
Look at all the prominent teams this year, Farnham, that have taken a couple losses in a row.
They lose 3 in a row, and all of a sudden the sky is falling for the Gators. And guess what? Now they're in first place in this conference. So I'm just not a fan of overreacting and being first losing streak sensitive. You know, just let it go through. Now, if it comes out and it continues, and you're like the Cavs, who can't stop anybody in the NBA right now. LeBron James and the Cavs can't guard anyone. In fact, OKC might have scored more points on Saturday night than you'll see in the All-Star game coming up in Los Angeles in about a month. But that's not the problem for Kentucky. They've got to just believe in the offense. And what I've seen so far here in the first half has been a much more consistent and fluid-flowing offense for the Wildcats.
As proven by Hamid Diallo right there. Well, that home loss to Florida this past weekend, that snapped some streaks. Kentucky had won 30 straight SEC games at home. They had won 16 straight overall here. Had around 57 straight home games against unranked teams. Open in that time from Eli Wright. Diallo from the corner. Laura?
Well, Tess, you're talking about this Kentucky team and how they might bounce back. And Coach Cal had told them to treat the loss to South Carolina and to Florida like wins, because he said they were so close to winning those games and should have won them. But Quade Green told me, look, we know they were losses, and that's lit a fire under us in a big way. He said it was almost like a wake-up call. And he also talked about how they're still trying to find some rhythm with Quade coming back from injury, as well as Jared Vanderbilt finally being healthy. They're at full strength, but these guys all together haven't played together that much.
Washington at the line. Quade Green missed 3 straight games, Laura noted. Came back, played 17 minutes Saturday against Florida, but his absence greatly affected Kentucky. They were so thinned out in the backcourt. Saw Brad Calipari, coach's son, getting some minutes in a couple games there during that stretch when Green was out injured. There is Brad. Washington has scored in double figures in 5 of the last 6 games. He has 7 now. A 5-point margin the lead for Kentucky. Good effort that time from Diallo. Reminder, we will have the Big 12 SEC Challenge coming your way Saturday on ESPN. You can see Trey Young in action, and then A&M and Kansas. Farnham, we will be there for that one with Holly Rowe. The primetime matchup is presented by AT&T. These Cats and 7th-ranked West Virginia.
You mentioned Texas A&M and Robert Williams, Tyler Davis, the size, the front court, going to be intriguing to see how Kansas tries to slow them down, because their size is going to cause some issues on the glass. Now, Kansas wants to push out in transition and shoot a lot of 3-point shots, so the floor spacing and having to close out the shooters is going to be the focal point for A&M heading into that matchup on Saturday.
Holman picks up his 2nd foul on the missed front end of the 1-and-1, as Washington will head back to the line.
Tess, the last couple of minutes, what has allowed Kentucky to seize control of this game is limiting the second chance opportunities. They've done a much better job securing possession on first possession defense. Getting the rebound, pushing in transition. Offensively, I think you've got to be really pleased with the tempo and pacing of this game. Remember I said, for Mississippi State to win this contest, the game has to be played in the 60s. You got 6 minutes left to go. Kentucky already has 32 points.
7 points, their largest lead. It was those second choice points that built up the early lead for Mississippi State. But they have settled in on the boards from the corner. And there is another rebound. Diallo on the go. Gilgeous-Alexander over to Diallo. Back out for 3. Front rims at that time. Ball is loose and back into the Cats' hands. Diallo lost control. Fight for it. Up ahead, Nick Weatherspoon.
A great job by Carter getting on the floor and immediately looking up for his teammates running out in front of him. And for Mississippi State, a needed easy basket.
Good awareness from the local kid. Grew up right there in Starkville. Trying to get it into Washington instead of turnover into the hands of Holman.
See, for Mississippi State, the last couple of possessions outside of the transition bucket, they've shot after 1 or 2 passes. When they were having success, they got a little bit of a ball reversal. They got the ball inside, kicked it back out, and then they were crashing the glass. Patience on this possession key.
There's Nick Weatherspoon. Holman spins, stripped away. Up ahead, Gilgeous-Alexander.
Holman's got to shoot that ball instead of dribbling into traffic. You dribble into traffic with the length of Kentucky. They're able to get their hands on it and then find an easy one. Out in transition. +7 for the Cats here in the first.
I like that efficiency, getting your teammates involved, much like my man Burke, Greenberg, and Williams there. And this is going to be coming your way on Saturday. Sexton and Young, part of the Big 12 SEC Challenge, as Oklahoma will take it on Alabama, Sean.
Alabama getting Colin Sexton back. He's missed the last couple of games with an abdominal strain. And you see the numbers for Trey Young, the 30 points, the 44% from the field, 39% from three-point line. We compare those numbers to Steph Curry at Davidson, very similar. In fact, identical percentage from beyond the arc.
Really curious to see how the two conferences match up on Saturday. Of course, because the SEC has the 14 teams, 4 have to sit out, and it's Auburn and Mizzou who will not be involved. 2 of the teams that the SEC would probably like to have in there, considering the success that we've seen out of those 2 programs this year.
Tennessee got the win tonight over Vanderbilt. Grant Williams had 18 points in that contest, and Rick Barnes' team continues to play well. They preseason predicted 13th in this conference. There's no chance they're going to end up there at the end of the year. They're going to end up in the NCAA tournament. Laura?
Well, guys, Ben Howland talking to his team and saying, look, we're kind of in the danger zone here, guys. We're down 7. We've got to make sure it doesn't get worse than that. And telling them they've got to drive inside and take some better shots in there. Also got to get back in transition.
That was a tremendous rebound right there by Jared Vanderbilt. I mean, he is twitchy now. Gilgeous-Alexander, ball was bounced around and gave himself an opportunity, but he couldn't put it down. As Ben Howland looks on, year number 3 at Mississippi State. He's had a lot of success in his year 3s elsewhere, as he has built up programs before with great success. Of course, Northern Arizona, Pitt, and all the great success at UCLA. But year 3 has paid off well for him. Wednesday night, NBA doubleheader. It's going to take us to see James Harden, Chris Paul, and the Rockets take on the Mavs at 8. Then Kyrie and the Celtics and the Clippers at Staples Center. An NBA countdown at 7 o'clock will tip things off. It's also available on the ESPN app. Celtics are going to get that West Coast trip in. First time this year they've headed out. Got the Lakers later tonight. And then the Clips on ESPN on Wednesday.
Well, how about Kentucky with 4 All-Stars this year? That's the first time since 1983, UCLA was the last to do it, that you had 4 All-Stars come from one university.
How about Boogie Cousins last night, my man?
Oh, just ridiculous.
I mean, what was that? How about that stat line? That is an all-timer. What do you go for? 44, 24, and 10?
Coach Cal said he reached out to Boogie this morning and said, hey, it's you and Wilt. Because Wilt was the one that got to 24 rebounds. Kareem had one. He was the last to do it. But he didn't get to 24 rebounds.
44, 24, and 10. Amazing.
Think about the Pelicans and their interior. Both of them starting. Both of them Kentucky Wildcats. Anthony Davis.
Well, Anthony Davis went for 34.
I mean, you know, and it's not like last week it wasn't Anthony Davis that was throwing up monster numbers of going for 45 and 17.
Bulldogs have closed this to 2. Gilgeous-Alexander and Quade Green out there together. And Green took steps.
You know, we talked so much
shuffle
about the NBA and Coach Cal talking about $1 billion coming from him. Ben Hallen's not too bad either. Look at all the current NBA players that he has coached, the contract money that they're owed or they've already earned. It comes out to $945 million. Now, it's not $1 billion. And I say it like that because that's how Cal said it at the press conference the other day. But 945 is not bad.
Folks, go on your ESPN app and listen to Coach Cal when he was questioned about recruiting and the status of Kentucky as a program in terms of developing talent. And you'll understand the stress on billions from John Calipari. He'd make Paul Giamatti proud. Washington turns and puts it in.
Tess, I'm telling you, he's going to have plus 20 points. I said it before the start of the game. He is a matchup problem for Mississippi State. He's also shown already in the first half his willingness to facilitate the offense and have some poise and patience. I think every possession when you get to the half court, you try to find number 25 and play through him a little bit.
And I would say over the course of the past month, if you're going to label anybody their quote-unquote tough guy, it would be P.J. Washington.
At the high post area, this is where he is just so comfortable. He utilizes his body, his frame, his strength to create an angle where he is comfortable. He knows exactly where he wants to go, and then he's able to get there.
Nice work that time from Stapleton.
They ruled it a 2, but they're going to look back at it when they have an opportunity.
He is back after a 1-game suspension. He's out of action in this past Saturday's loss at Alabama. That man has overcome a couple of ACL injuries in his career. With the foul in the paint that time.
And a foul away from the ball on Quindary Weatherspoon.
That is his second. As Knox will head to the line.
And Kevin Knox is one of those guys that at the start of the year, Seth Greenberg was back in studio. He and I were here for the pro day, and we were talking, who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the guy that gets it going? And you're like, oh man, you know what? Kevin Knox, he's going to lead this team in scoring. He's going to shoot the ball well. He's got a nice stroke from beyond the arc. The consistency has not been there for Kevin Knox, in particular from deep. Just 30%. And in the last 5 games, just 25% from beyond the arc. Where he's gotten better, and this is what Coach Cal has been focusing on for the last 3 weeks now, is getting him to be more aggressive inside. Inside the arc, he's shooting 61% over that 5-game stretch.
When he has been more aggressive and when he has been able to get himself to the basket, it has paid off. He came up big in the road win at Vandy. He had the drive, the foul, the 3-point play that put Kentucky up. And down the stretch, he scored 9 of their last 15 points for that road win, but then the recent slump in the 2 straight losses.
A nice performance so far tonight, though, as he has stretched the defense. He's knocked down a couple of threes. He's got 13.
And 4 of 5 shooting, 13 points for Kevin Knox, and a 4-point lead. Stapleton. He'll take that bounce.
Now, this is the SEC. Separation is hard this year. We had a game go to double overtime tonight in Georgia. Arkansas able to outlast the Bulldogs. This one, a one-possession game. 25% of all the games in conference play have been one possession at the end of it.
Here's Richards trying to muscle his way in and couldn't get it to drop. From top to bottom, probably the healthiest that the conference has been in some time. Of course, at the very top, they've had the national title contenders many times, but the depth, the competitiveness, superb in conference. Down to 6 seconds here. From the corner, right. And it'll be a 2-point Kentucky lead at the break. 13 points out of Knox, 11 out of Washington for Kentucky to lead the way. Here's Laura.
Coach, what will be your biggest emphasis for the second half?
We got a lot of things to talk about. They're just not willing passers right now, and you got to be. Flying up the court, we're not, just throw it ahead and let's make those plays. But I thought we did some good stuff. The zone looked good. Rebounding, 2 hands. We go after one-handed rebound, and they all end up being our foul because we don't get it, and we get, you know, Wenyon gets 2 fouls on it. So we got some stuff to talk about.
Thanks, Coach.
Kevin Knox helped the cause to try to bounce back after the 2 straight losses. Knox, 13 points in that first half. Cal has a lot to talk about. Earlier, weatherman SEC Farnham told us of the unstable system that's been going on the last 2 games, but Coach Cal has been trying to part those rain clouds with a 2-point lead against Mississippi State, as Kevin Knox has led the way with 13 points. Let's look at tonight's game flow driven by Continental Tire, Farnham.
Well, I think it goes to the versatility of the interior presence of Kentucky. I thought it was going to be P.J. Washington, and it was in the first half, but he also had some help. Kevin Knox, the 2 of them combined to go 7 of 9 from the field, 24 points. They've got to do a better job on the glass, though, as Laura reported in the first half. But through the offense, if you play through them, P.J. Washington in particular, good things happened in the first half when he got his hands on the ball. For Mississippi State, they are +8 on second chance points in the game. Excuse me, +9 in second chance points. 6 offensive rebounds. Kentucky's got to continue to shore up their defense and finish off their first possession.
Here's Laura.
Well, Ben Howland from Mississippi State has said that they're going to go back to their regular zone offense. He said they tried to switch a few things up in the first half with their rovers, but they didn't have a lot of luck with that, didn't feel comfortable. So want to get back to that regular zone and just knock down open shots when they're there. He also said they have got to rebound better.
They were good rebounding early on, especially with the second chance points, and then Kentucky did a much better job of boxing out and hustling. Mississippi State did close that first half on a 9-4 run over the last 3 minutes, cut the deficit from 7 to 2. But they had those 9 second chance points in the first 11 minutes of the half, and then only 2 second chance points in the last 9 minutes of the half. To Laura's point, the emphasis from Howland. Trying to get it into the post that time to Holman. Knocked away.
What is Quindary Weatherspoon looking at there, then? Nothing was open at all. You're lucky that that got deflected out of bounds, because otherwise it would have been a fast break opportunity for the Cats.
And then Q does that. He has 11.
Well, he can do that really well.
Sure
and
can.
Too easy. 2 times now and out of bounds underneath. That Mississippi State has just stepped right into a jump shot.
And now in transition, Lamar Peters. He gives to Weatherspoon, who finishes, and all of a sudden the Bulldogs have the lead.
A timeout by Kentucky. You mentioned it, partner. The 9-4 run to end the half. 4 quick points for Mississippi State. And it starts with a little bit of defense, a little bit of toughness from Lamar Peters. Gets in the passing lane, dumps it off to his teammate in the finish by Q. Bulldogs by 2.
Head-to-head is brought to you by Bosch Wiper Blades. Kentucky has dominated this series through the years against Mississippi State. Of course, back in 1996, though, State did have a signature moment, winning the SEC title game against the Cats. Mississippi State hasn't beaten Kentucky here at Rupp since 2009. Kentucky's won the last 10 games against the Bulldogs. That 09 win, they're only ever here at Rupp. They lead by 2 early on in the second half. Joe Tessitore, Sean Farnham, Laura Rutledge with you from Lexington.
Well, that's short.
Well short, but Gabriel was in the right spot at the right time.
Sometimes you can miss a shot so badly that the opponent is not expecting it, and it opens up for your teammate, and that's exactly what happened that time for Wenyen Gabriel.
Holman gets it into the post to Adu. And the turn with the right hand wouldn't go. As Knox came up with it. Up ahead now, Diallo. Here's Washington. Gilgeous-Alexander probing, leaving it that time for Washington as he was fouled.
From an unsettled offensive set to good execution. That's what you saw that time by Kentucky. Diallo and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander actually were Xing out and crossing each other when the initial pass came. Could have easily been a turnover. But after it got to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's hand, he read the defense perfectly, forced them to step up, and threw it up the iron. And P.J. Washington draws the foul and gets the trip to the free throw line.
Reminds you to keep it right here for Sports Center. When we are done, Michael Eaves, Kenny Mayne, going to have everything on Cavs Spurs. LeBron got 30,000 Farnham, so we're going to take you inside that milestone and the full breakdown of Kansas and Oklahoma, the night from Trey Young, and how things set up for what will be Saturday's Big 12 SEC showdown. It is Sports Center right here on ESPN after we finish up from Lexington. Peters pushing and finishing.
Remember, he had an outstanding game last year in Starkville against this Kentucky Wildcat team, and he was able to turn the corner against De'Aaron Fox, and there weren't many guards in the country last year that could do that.
Peters had 25 against Kentucky last year. Diallo still fighting for it, and then Nick Weatherspoon comes away with it. Pulling up, wanting it, not able to get it. A little flat that time. Gilgeous-Alexander gives way to Gabriel from the corner. Wenyen Gabriel and Kentucky back up. And that's what Cal wants to see. He has said everybody, what's happening is fixable. Feels comfortable with where this team actually is, even with the 2 losses, and there is no panic. He has been stressing that and wants that 3 ball and more of it, and getting it from Wenyen. Q, step back. And the foul will be charged on Holman.
You want to be aggressive going to the offensive rebound, but you've got to be smarter than that. Holman picks up his 3rd personal foul. He'll go to the bench. And ball control had already been confirmed by the Cats. They already had it in their hands. No need to go over the back in that moment.
So Holman will take a seat as Xavier Stapleton checks in.
Lamar Peters asking the official, that's on me.
He was going for that ball.
Adu came over the back. I thought they were going to catch Adu with it. Instead, it's on Peters.
His first tonight.
Right now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has shown some good control in the offense. He found Washington at the rim, trying to set up his teammate there, and found the kick out to the corner for Wenyen Gabriel.
Washington taking it strong. Adu denied the first attempt, and then the extra effort helps.
Look, he gets you on your hip, you're done.
Yep.
He is so smart once he gets that wide frame on the defense to know what angle he needs to create to try to get the shot off.
That wide frame is used to his advantage at 6'7", 236. Through the lane, Q. And he was fouled before he got off the shot attempt there. Now the Diallo charged with his second.
Lamar Peters right now is talking with Nick Weatherspoon, and Weatherspoon was wanting him to kick out the ball, and they were actually arguing over what should have been done on that possession. You don't want to see that, especially when you're on the road. You've got to stay tight together.
Traffic in the corner, and now some freedom for Lamar Peters. Inside and unable to finish was Adu. Gilgeous-Alexander. And here comes Q up ahead to the younger brother, and Nick puts it down with Gabriel trailing. Nick Weatherspoon, the freshman who Ben Howland says, I've never had a freshman guard that's better, more competitive, or tougher defensively. Think about some of the talent that he has had through the years. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander now has double digits.
A good change of pace by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So often we look at guards and we go, how quick are they? And De'Aaron Fox obviously was lightning quick a season ago. You're looking for the three in the corner.
Q wrapping around, ducking under, and scoring again. 15 now for Quindary Weatherspoon.
What happens there is scouting report for Diallo says, hey, they're looking for the three. He runs out to the corner. As he's running out, it's an easy blow by for Quindary Weatherspoon.
Things have tightened up here at Rupp. Washington picks up his second. We take a short break. Cats by 1. Saturday, the challenge will be coming your way. Full slate of games. You see, Hail State's rival Ole Miss will be playing Texas on ESPN2. That TCU team that faces Vanderbilt had a big win last night against West Virginia. There is A&M against Kansas. Barnum, you and I will be making our way to Fog Allen. And of course, Kentucky at West Virginia, the primetime game on ESPN and College Game Day. The game will be there. By the way, Kentucky just 5-10 in games with College Game Day.
Do we put the blame on Seth or Jay? Jay will. Which one?
I don't know, but I know it was a good show this past Saturday here at Rupp, and then it didn't go their way in the final moments against Florida. There was that no call late.
You want what's not going their way right now, though? Stopping Quindary Weatherspoon. He's got 17, and he is just slicing it up, getting to the rim, getting to where he wants to be. And that starts with your on-ball defense, but where's the help side and the crisp rotation? Plugging the hole.
Here's Washington now working his way through, and he will head to the line. Laura?
Well, Tess, Coach Cal wants this Kentucky defense to be tougher, and he said when we're in our man-to-man defense, make sure that you're not switching too soon. Try to wait a little bit to switch, because he said when we're switching too soon, we're not communicating. We've got to be tougher and try to hold on, not switch as much.
Well, and Laura, the big part of what you just said is they're not communicating. If you're switching defensively, you have to let your teammate know. You have to yell, switch. They have to have a clear understanding of what's going on. If you've got two guys trailing with the basketball, that means you've got an open guy on the floor. They can split you up and be able to find a way to get to the iron.
See the defensive efficiency. Ranked 28th is this team.
Well, we talked about that guard matchup between Trey Young and Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton returned tonight. They're losing 67-54 right now in the second half at Ole Miss. Sexton only 1 for 9 from the floor with 3 points.
Here at Rupp, we've now had 5 lead changes, 9 ties, 1-point margin again. Younger brother couldn't connect. Nick Weatherspoon, though, second chance opportunity here for Mississippi State. Here's Q. Skip past Carter for 3. And into the hands of Gilgeous-Alexander. And that is off the hip, and it'll be Mississippi State ball. As Knox struggled to control things there. 8 turnovers now for Coach Cal's team.
The key right now for Kentucky is when things are not going right, when they're not flowing and the game is tight, do you get tighter or do you play freer and more confident? And right now they're playing a little tight, in particular at the offensive end.
A week ago tonight, we saw them tighten up when they had that 6-point lead in the final moments against South Carolina. Q gets it down to the baseline of Stapleton. And the Bulldogs go back up by 1.
A great pass once again. Quindary Weatherspoon breaking down the defense, getting into the teeth of it. Then a beautiful small window to feed that ball through and drops it off for his teammate.
It's 4 now on Xavier Stapleton.
You mentioned it. Quindary Weatherspoon, a much better job this year also facilitating the offense.
4.2 assists per game, Sean.
Much improved from where he was the first couple of years. They've asked him to take a little bit more of that role on.
Shea getting around Holman. Sasha couldn't get it to go, but then a foul as he hit the deck.
There's a loose ball foul. Both guys going for the rebound. Holman lost his balance and fell right on Sasha Kalea-Jones.
And with that, Holman has 4 fouls. So Holman will take a seat. Just over 13 minutes to go here. Gilgeous-Alexander. And tapped away and secured by Peters. Up ahead, Q. Crossing over, and the left hand, he couldn't connect. And here comes Quade Green. On the go, back to him. Inside, Sasha. And what a sloppy moment. Peters. And Mississippi State.
That's an outlet pass, Tess.
Is up by 3.
And it's not an outlet pass to your team. I mean, that was such a poor pass. No recognition, no need to make that pass by Sasha Kalea-Jones.
Skip pass from the corner. Now the drive. Gilgeous-Alexander with the spin and in. He has 12 tonight. And Rupp now roaring for a little defense. Never lost 3 straight under Cal. Peters' long ball was off the mark. Green well off the mark that time. Of course, working his way back after the back injury had him out for 3 straight.
Well, Coach Cal not happy. It's usually his team that's able to create offense off of their defense and get out in transition. But if you're going to hand it to your teammate and create opportunities for them, Mississippi State will take them when they've got them. And they're up by 1.
Oh, my favorite Canadian. Thank you very much, Berkey. And speaking of Alabama, who's losing tonight, this is what BPI said when it said percent of chance to win the SEC regular season. Alabama was a tick ahead of Kentucky at 2.5%, Farnham.
I know analytics, and you can run numbers all you want, but at the end of the day, look, Alabama's losing right now. They lose this game, that's going to drop. Kentucky wins this game, all of a sudden they're going to go up. It changes so dramatically from game in and game out because of how tight everything is in this conference right now.
Thus the big swing with Florida having won here on Saturday night. Carter. Knocked around, fought for, and possession is going to go with Kentucky here. Laura?
Well, Tess, we know Quade Green wasn't completely healthy against Florida. He told me today he was 100% going into tonight, but still trying to get back into the rhythm of things. His teammates knowing that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just told him, hey, just calm down, be yourself, go out there and play basketball. We trust you.
Well, they'd like him to do something. The only thing he's recorded today is a turnover.
And stat line's got a lot of zeros in it. Here he gets it over to Washington, who found some position and drew the foul.
I will tell you this too. If I'm Mississippi State and I'm Ben Howland, I'm looking at Tyson Carter and I'm saying, all right, Tyson, we know you made a three-point shot, but you've also missed 6. You're 1 from 7 beyond the arc, and he hasn't hit one since his second attempt. Turn it down, try to find something different. I know that's a strength of his game, but it has not been a strength over the last 5 games. It doesn't go down as an assist for Quade, but that was an excellent pass to find P.J. Washington.
It was indeed, earning the trip to the line. As Washington has 17 points tonight. As Kevin Knox will check in, and Quade Green will take a seat.
In fact, they're trying to figure out who's subbing out. They went to take Quade and
Diallo.
Coach Cal's like, that leaves me essentially with Jared Vanderbilt as my point guard. Let's take Diallo out.
Well, he is that positionless kind of player, but at 6'9", 214, and with Green back healthy, I think they've made the right choice. So 10 ties, 8 lead changes as Kentucky goes back up by 1.
By the way, Diallo's already back at the scorer's table to come back in the game.
With Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Obviously some miscommunication as far as what the Cats were looking to do on that substitution.
Knocked out by Vanderbilt. Here comes Shea and Diallo.
It's going to be Wenyon and Quade that lead the game. A lot of the communication issues, even on substitution. Tess, look, you don't talk on defense. Then when you go to the scorer's table, who am I going in for? You should know when you get to the scorer's table, and when you come in, you're telling, hey, I got you. I got you. You shouldn't have been looking back at your coach going, wait, who did you want me to get again?
One of the things we talk about with a young team, and a team that we forget is still gelling because of how many missing pieces in recent weeks. Here comes Vanderbilt on the go, up ahead to Hami. As they will settle things down, up by 1. Washington brings it. P.J. Washington. On the feed from Gilgeous-Alexander. And the Cats take a 3-point lead with under 10 to play.
Tess, Kentucky is noted for its bourbon, its horses, and actually Tempur-Pedic mattresses. And that was as comfortable as an offensive set as I've seen in a long time for the Cats. This is Kentucky basketball. This is what you've come to expect. That high ball screen, a point guard that reads it beautifully, and then throws it up at the iron and get the big finish.
P.J. Washington with 19 points now. As high as 20. Kentucky by 3. That's this defensive-minded and scrappy Mississippi State team. Cal said there will be no panic. This is fixable. Let's see if they can have it that way down the stretch. Here's the runner that time as Mississippi State gets back to 1. Hugh Weatherspoon has 19 himself.
Small thing. You come out of a timeout. Obviously, Mississippi State executes their play exactly the way that they wanted to. But if you're Kentucky, you have to get that stop and build on the momentum of the dunk going to the timeout.
Here's Washington now against Adu. Stepped on the baseline.
So see how quick it changes. You get the dunk, the crowd is in the game, it's a timeout. You come out, you allow your opponent to score. You don't execute a clean set. You force it a little bit by turning baseline, not knowing where you are on the floor. And now all of a sudden you give Mississippi State a chance to regain the lead.
10 turnovers now for Kentucky. Remember we mentioned in SEC games they have that negative assist to turnover ratio. 9 to 10 tonight. Peters with the jump stop, or the hop step through the lane, but couldn't get it to go. Diallo now spins to his right. Tap in wouldn't go as well.
I'm going to go find Quindary Weatherspoon on this possession.
Long three. And And a long rebound to Gilgeous-Alexander.
Well, if Eli Wright, instead of just running back down the floor, just turned around, that was a long rebound he could have grabbed.
That's right. Would have been right there. Knox. How about it? 16 points for Kevin Knox. And that'll make them roar even more. Rupp is alive. Cats by 4.
Kentucky's offense flowing. P.J. Washington, good ball reversal, a late closeout by Mississippi State. And Coach Cal trying to will this team to execute down the stretch, knowing that Mississippi State isn't going anywhere. They're down by 4. This is a team that rallied from 19 down against Alabama the last time they played to take a lead late in that contest.
See, it's been a long time since Cal has lost 3 straight. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen anytime soon. So Kevin Knox right there. He's made all 4 of his 3-point attempts. Mississippi State has struggled shooting 3 in the second half. 0 for 7. Leaving it that time with Vanderbilt on the glory end. Again, the assist from Gilgeous-Alexander.
The dunk was thunderous, but that adjustment in the air for Vanderbilt was much more difficult.
Coming out and playing Q and picking up the fouls, Vanderbilt.
You go back to this last possession, the roll straight to the rim. They worked on this at shoot around today, but look at the adjustment with the left hand reaching back to guide that ball into the iron.
Such a talented guy as Vanderbilt.
Flashes right now, flashes. That's all you're seeing. He is so much better than what he has shown.
Local fans have had to wait a long time to get a glimpse of him. He had the foot injury back in September. They thought that he would need surgery. Long ball from Q, wouldn't connect. Instead, he came back last week. Diallo, crossover, and the finish. And Uncle Mo is with the Cats. Momentum has arrived with a 13-2 run that has stemmed for a moment from Nick Weatherspoon. And that is going to be
when they're
picking up the foul.
When they're at their best test, it's in the open floor. And Hamidou Diallo, just a beautiful crossover to create the space. Quindary jumped on it, and he's able to utilize his athleticism and guide to the iron. And then they draw the foul out in transition. What you're starting to see here in the last 2 minutes, Tess, is Kentucky forcing tempo, creating offense, pushing the ball up the floor. Mississippi State has been a little unsettled on its offensive end. And because of that, their spacing, their defensive transition has not been as crisp, and Kentucky has made them pay.
And they have earned opportunities. And this guy has as well. Washington checks in with 19 points as Vanderbilt will take a seat. Crowd appreciates his efforts. Laura.
Well, Tess, Sean was talking about this Mississippi State team's propensity to come back from deficits, and that's something that Ben Howland's been hanging his hat on in the final minutes of this game, telling his team they're not out of it, but reminding them you absolutely cannot foul. We can't afford that right now.
They fought so hard the other night against Alabama to come back in that game. We'll see what they have left here in a place that historically has been so difficult for them to play at. Gabriel gets it over, and now they'll reset with Gilgeous-Alexander.
They may not be out of it, Laura, but they're on the ropes. And Kentucky, a couple of clean sets, and that was not one of them. A couple more stops. And some looks out in the open floor and execution at this end of the floor. This one's going to be sewn up real quick. And you got a turnover by Kentucky, and if you're Mississippi State, I want an on-ball screen for Lamar Peters, try to get him to turn the corner, and when he does, you look to kick to Quindary Weatherspoon.
They get into the high post. Tapped away, so Peters tracks it down. Now driving, and was trying to find Weatherspoon on the baseline. Reminder that Wednesday night NBA doubleheader is going to take us to Texas to see Harden and Paul and the Rockets take on the Mavs at 8 Eastern. And then the Celtics and Kyrie taking on Blake Griffin and the Clippers at Staples Center. NBA countdown at 7 will get the night started on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Are you surprised that Chris Paul is not an all-star?
Yes.
Sure.
How about Cal's comment when we talked about how many Kentucky players are in the All-Star game? He said, I want 12. I want all 12. Younger brother Nick Weatherspoon, he has 10, and it's a 5-point game.
Turning turnovers into points. Remember a poor possession last time down for Kentucky. You get the 3 points off of them. Quiets everybody down.
Wenyon spins to the left and was off the mark. Tracked down by Quindary. There's that on-ball screen you're looking for with Peters to see what they work out of it. Stapleton on the drive. And shot clock violation.
Stapleton just has not been in any kind of rhythm on that drive. I mean, you've got to at least draw iron. It's late in the shot clock. You've got to give yourself a chance.
Green, and he was fouled coming around that screen with Washington.
Another wild night in the SEC. We saw Tennessee earlier get the win over Vanderbilt. Vandy with a nice comeback in the second half. Arkansas, its first road victory of the season.
That seemed like a thriller there.
And they went to double overtime. Macon and Barford combined for 49 points in that win for Mike Anderson and the Razorbacks.
Green at the line. His first point of the night comes with 4.5 minutes to play. Remember this SEC, 8 RPI top 40 teams. Number 1 among conferences.
There's a lob.
Too much, too far to the outside, but they're able to corral it. And young Nick is off the mark big time to the left. Gilgeous-Alexander, nice move off the glass. Oh, that was some stuff there, Farnham.
Test Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Again, be quick, don't hurry. John Wooden used to say it. Very simple. Plant your foot, change direction. The beautiful step through the defense, freezing, getting out of his way, clearing the way to finish off the glass. What a beautiful move by 22.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile.
Kentucky enjoying their largest lead of the night. Joe Tessitore, Sean Farnham, Laura Rutledge here at Rupp Arena, where Mississippi State hasn't won since 2009.
I'll tell you one thing Coach Cal is going to be ecstatic about when he gets back in the locker room and looks at the box score. Do you know how many second chance points the Cats have given up in the second half? 0.
Remember, it was 9 in the first 10 minutes of this game that they gave up. So they made the fix there. Coach Cal has talked plenty in the past few days about what's fixable with this team.
Well, and what that tells me is there's carryover. There's carryover from the locker room. There's carryover from timeouts.
There's a foul there as they're looking for position, and that's going to be Gabriel's third. And 14 fouls for Kentucky. Underneath, off the inbound, and then the turnover as Knox will get it up to Green, over to Gabriel in the corner. Shea.
He thought too long on that shot. Catch it and release.
And that sensational move just moments ago to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Carter not bashful, and they needed that.
And he's fouled.
So he will have the chance for the 4-point play.
And these are the mental breakdowns that when you have a lead, you cannot afford to do. The three-point shooter, you draw contact going through him. Did he sell it a little bit? Yeah, he did. But did you make contact with the arm? And without question, Quade Green made contact with the arm on a jump shooter from 3. Coach Cal letting him know.
4-point play for Tyson Carter.
And just like that, it becomes a 2-possession contest.
Down to 5 here with 3 minutes to go in Lexington. Washington. Good rebound. Second chance in Gabriel. But we got the whistle. Great effort underneath there. And that is Stapleton with 5 now, so he will take that walk. Flipping the switch is brought to you by Boost Mobile.
Now, P.J. Washington coming off of a game where he failed to get to 10 points against Florida. He had 6.7 rebounds in that game. This was tailor-made for him to get to 20. He's got 19 with just under 3 left to go, and he's done it with only 9 shot attempts. He's been to the free throw line 12 times in the game.
Kevin Knox at the line, sitting on 18.
The tandem between those two have been such a catalyst for this offense. And while Knox has not shown the ability to get on the glass with any level of consistency, a nice job putting himself in the right position to get that offensive rebound.
Knox and Washington both with 19 points. Carter, he's going to go for it again. Tapped around and into the hands of Washington.
That was a settled three-point shot that was completely unnecessary by Carter.
Washington, big night out of P.J. Washington, a career high. 21 points on 6 of 10 shooting. And another turnover. And the foul with some frustration as he'll be heading to the line and shoot 2.
P.J. Washington pops, a little hesitation, and then splits the defense. So explosive from the high post area. And we saw it against Tennessee in the game that they lost there. He got saddled with a couple of fouls and went to the bench. And it took away some of his aggressiveness. They couldn't stop him that night. And tonight, this matchup was tailor-made for him to have success. And he has not failed to disappoint, although he misses the free throw. Think about Tess, do you know how hard you have to play to get fouled as often?
He's earning it.
As P.J. Washington has. This will be his 14th free throw attempted on the game.
And just like that, it's back to 9.
Well, now you got to go with a sense of purpose. You got to drive and attack. I try to get to the free throw line if I'm Mississippi State. I'm not settling for three-point shots. They're not a great three-point shooting team. Stop the clock, drive, and initiate contact.
Reminder that Sports Center is coming up once we finish up here at Rupp Arena. I'll tell you about LeBron's milestone. Explain to you what happened in Oklahoma and Kansas as Wenyen Gabriel continues with more great hustle and effort for the Cats that we've seen in this second half. And denied on the other end. How about that flex from PJ? And these young Cats are finding themselves here in this second half, aren't they?
It says it comes with energy. Simply put, just play with energy. Play with purpose, play with energy. And you'll find yourself in a good position.
Reminder, we're going to see this Kentucky team in the capper of the Big 12 SEC Challenge as we show you all the games that will be coming your way on ESPN and our networks on Saturday. This is fun. 5th time we're doing it, Big 12 SEC. 3rd straight year that it's all in one day, and that'll be the capper, the Saturday night prime time presented by AT&T. Kentucky and 7th-ranked West Virginia, and Reese and the guys will be there to start the day with College Game Day.
One of the things I think that can kind of help Kentucky a little bit in that game against West Virginia is the fact that they played South Carolina, who's a very physical defensive team. It's different than West Virginia and the way that they want to play, but you still have a certain level of intensity that you need to bring in focus at the offensive end. Avoiding the turnovers is going to be a major point for Coach Cal and this team as they prepare for Saturday night against the Mountaineers.
We're going to be taking that trip out to Kansas.
Your first trip to Allen.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Some late drama there with Oklahoma tonight, as Trey Young was distributing late and getting that win. SEC standings updated as we see them. Alabama took it on the chin tonight. There is such depth in this conference this year.
Andy Kennedy's team is a dangerous team. You watch them play, they can shoot the ball, they score the ball. AK just gets different transfers and they come on in and they can flat out fly.
That Ole Miss team was up on this, or was down on against Mississippi State, and then rallied back against Ben Howland's squad. Of course, his squad fought back so graciously this past Saturday against Alabama.
Look, Mississippi State, and I know Mississippi State fans look at this game and they go, okay, great, we're going to 2-5 in conference play. The Bulldogs are actually better than they were a year ago.
How so, Sean?
Well, they're just more talented. They're as good as they were defensively. They still have some offensive deficiencies, in particular from shooting from beyond the arc, but they're better on the inside. Their interior presence is better offensively, Tess. The problem is the conference also got better.
That's right.
So the numbers may not reflect the improvement by Ben Howland's team in the SEC.
Which is also a message that I think Coach Cal and a lot of those knowing the reality of Kentucky have been reminding people of.
And I think part of it this week around this program in particular for Kentucky, let's not beat around it, is Zion Williamson doesn't come to Kentucky. Duke's got number 1, 2, and 3 on the board, and Kentucky faithful are used to seeing John Calipari bring in the top recruiting class, top 2 recruiting classes every single year. And those guys that are going to Duke, they were on Kentucky's list. But don't panic. They get number 1, number 2 recruiting classes. They're nice. They're fine. But when you look at this group on the floor, you're going to have some guys return.
And that's a good thing.
Okay, you need to get a little bit older. You need to have some guys. Look at when Coach Cal talked to us and talked to Laura, mentioned Wenyen Gabriel, and the team plays better when he's on the floor. Why? He knows what the Kentucky way is. He's seen it. He's experienced it before. You benefit from that. You play with better confidence, you play with better energy, and you find yourself in a rhythm.
And you think about some of the numbers coming in after last week at South Carolina, and then the loss here at home to Florida. You know, Kentucky hasn't had a losing streak over 2 games since the end of the Billy Gillispie years. It was 2009 when they lost their last 4 regular season games, and you just had a feeling being around the team the past couple days that the focus, the emphasis, the purpose was there. And the confidence that Cal was exuding. He's like, I'm not bothered right now. I feel good about where things were on Saturday night when we left and where things will obviously be.
Tess, the parts are there. And that's the key thing. Listen, the parts are there. You know what the most important thing about the parts is? When will they become whole? We saw glimpses tonight that this team started to become whole in moments of this game against a very good defensive team from Mississippi State. But they need to be able to sustain it for an entire game, especially on Saturday night in West Virginia.
Gilgeous-Alexander had 16 for Cal. Knox had 19. Washington 22, a career high for P.J. Washington. He says it's fixable. There's no panic. It looked that way tonight. 78-65 for Sean Farnham and Laura Rutledge. And our entire crew, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy SportsCenter right now.